the previous episode with the Ford F-150 Lightning, we tested the towing range, but in this video we got something a little bit more special. What we have here is an electric truck and a diesel Ram 2500, and we're going to load this Lightning up to max trailer weight, just about 10,000 pounds, and run it up the world's toughest towing test, the Gauntlet, to see if an electric truck can match a diesel truck in terms of towing confidence. Once again, this video is not a range test, but we're going to see what is the F-150 Lightning like at max weight compared to, well, the gold standard for diesel towing.
Tommy, I have a very controversial question for you.
All right.
Is the electric truck the new diesel?
Well, in this video, we are taking the Ford F-150 Lightning all-electric pickup and the Ram 2500 Cummins up the Gauntlet to find out.
Under the hood of the new F-150 Lightning is, let's check it, is Tommy, actually. So for this test, we're going to be using Flintstone power because, Tommy, you're going to be running, right?
Yeah, I have none of that, but what we do have is 2 electric motors, and what's the power output?
580 horsepower combined from the 2 electric motors and 775 pound-feet of torque, which is almost diesel torque, right?
I will not be getting under the hood of the Cummins for the record.
For this comparison, we brought a proper diesel truck. This Ram 2500 is equipped with a standard output, 6.7 liter, straight 6, turbocharged, good old Cummins. 370 horsepower and 850 pound-feet of torque. So while the electric motors have more horsepower, the torque number is actually fairly close.
We want to give a big thank you to Magna International for sponsoring this video and this Magna Minute. Who is Magna? They're one of the biggest developers of leading-edge automotive and truck tech in the world. They make everything from complete vehicles to self-driving systems for the latest SUVs and trucks. Magna's even building the future of electric heavy-duty pickups with their burly electric axle that can double as a locking differential. It delivers incredible power and torque to the heaviest of heavy-duty pickups. From towing to putting down the power in all conditions, Magna is helping make the future of EV trucks not only possible, but even more capable. Go see the power of Magna for yourself by clicking on the link below in the description and checking out Magna's YouTube channel. There you can get a real glimpse into the future of automotive.
The Gauntlet is the world's toughest towing test because of where we are at the Continental Divide in the Rocky Mountains, over 11,158 feet above sea level, 8-mile run, 7% grade. Tommy, what do you think?
Oh man, I'm so excited to be doing this video, Andre.
Yes, so it's diesel versus electricity.
And we're going to answer the simple question, is electricity going to be the new diesel in terms of towing?
Yes, so we're in the Ram Cummins heavy-duty 2500 on the downhill, starting the downhill Gauntlet. I'm going to reset my trip meter because we're doing it slightly differently.
Right, so we want to see what the consumption is going to be not only on the way up, but on the round trip. So we're going to have 2 trips running, one for the whole route and one for just the uphill as usual. And Andre, talk to me about this downhill test. What are we doing?
So we've been running this mountain for almost 9.5 years.
Yeah, you said we have over 140 Gauntlets.
Yes, and we're measuring brake applications on the way down in a traditional gasoline or diesel vehicle. And basically we want to see the fewer the brake applications, the better, because we're saving brakes, we're controlling our heavy trailers on the way down the mountain. And in this diesel, I have a lot of tools for this. First of all, I have tow haul mode, which gives me great shifting. Like you see, it downshifted for me, I didn't do it. And then I also have an automatic exhaust brake.
What does that mean?
That means basically using the turbocharger, the engine is able to create back pressure to slow the vehicle down. And it's smart. The automatic mode on the exhaust brake supposed to maintain the speed that I set, which is 50 miles an hour. So, and it's doing it right now.
That's pretty amazing. Now, this is a long, steep grade. What is the grade percentage?
Yeah, the Gauntlet is the world's toughest towing test because it's a 7% grade, 8-mile stretch of highway, and top elevation is over 11,158 feet above sea level.
That's pretty amazing. And if you've ever driven this grade through Colorado, the first thing you notice are all the semi-trucks that are doing 25, 30 miles an hour in an area where the speed limit is 60 miles an hour plus.
Yes.
And that's because this is such a steep grade. On the way up, of course, you have the steepness, but on the way down, you don't want to build too much heat in your brakes because you can get brake fade and eventually brake failure, which will require to use
the runaway truck ramp, which hopefully we won't be using. As pickup trucks get more advanced, our trailers are getting more advanced as well. For this test, we're using this brand new Aluma 24-foot long trailer. Why is it important? Well, this trailer is fully built out of aluminum, which makes it relatively lightweight. The trailer weight itself is around 2,100 pounds. And you could put something gigantic onto this, like this Excursion, for a total of 9,600 pounds. Truck number 2.
So Andre, let's check out the weights.
So dude, we also unhooked the trailer from the Ram, so we have an exact, precise Ram heavy-duty weight of 7,960, almost 8,000 pounds.
What does the new electric Lightning weigh?
This is really interesting as the semis go by. Almost perfect 50-50 weight distribution, total weight 6,820, so it's actually under 7,000 pounds curb weight.
All right, that's not
Light.
Well, it's not light. It's a light duty truck. And what about the mass? So if we take the weight of the Ram plus the trailer, subtract the Ram, how much does the trailer weigh?
It's insane.
Okay.
The total weight of the Ram and the trailer and the Excursion is 17,580, which means the weight of the trailer is 9,620. Dude, I was targeting 9,000 pounds, but that Excursion is heavy.
That thing is a monster chunker. So what that means is we are almost at the capacity of our aluminum trailer.
Yes.
We are almost at the capacity of the Ford. Within like what, 300 pounds?
Yes. This is going to be a mega super hike.
And the whole idea here is that we let the truck do the thinking. So there's a lot of different ways you could approach this challenge. You could approach it by manually selecting a lower gear. But of course, we test so many trucks, we can't keep a baseline if we were to select gears manually because all trucks have different ratios, all gearboxes respond differently. So the way we always do our test is run the truck and drive, activate any tools such as the exhaust brake, and then no cruise control either, is that correct?
Correct, because yes, like you said, like right now, look, it's using about 180 horsepower of back pressure. That's what the Ram is telling me to slow me down.
Yep, and if we use cruise control, first of all, it's not super safe to be towing in these areas with cruise control.
Yeah.
It's just so incredibly steep and twisty. And second of all, just in general, over mountain passes, you don't want to be on cruise because there's a lot of stuff going on that can impact your safety.
Yeah, and it's hard for us to compare one cruise control system to the next, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But this truck is performing amazingly, and that automatic exhaust brake is incredible. So you set it at 50, and we haven't really budged from 50 right now.
No.
It's 51, but look, right down to 50 again.
And it comes on and it just kind of, and by the way, I did not use cruise control, like you said. All I did is I let off the accelerator pedal at the top of the mountain and it memorized that speed. That's all I did.
Yeah, but you still have full control over the pedals, full control over the truck.
So we're at the bottom, guys. 0 brake applications, towing 9,600 pounds. What else do you want from a diesel?
Yeah, it performed absolutely perfectly. Now, what is the max tow rating on this?
It's 20,000 pounds on this particular model.
So we're going to flip around down here at the town of Silverthorne, Colorado, and then we're going to make the grueling climb back up.
Yes, let's see if we can heat this diesel up and see what happens. This being a heavy-duty truck, you would think it would have an enormous payload, but because it's a 3/4 ton, it has 2,234 pounds of payload, and we do have a couple of additional pieces of equipment here, some hitches, so that rating is actually a tiny bit lower than that. So Tommy, the procedure on the way up the mountain, the Gauntlet mountain, is we start at 35 miles per hour on the on-ramp, and then I just nail the throttle, and we get to 60, and we try to stay at 60, and you reset it, right?
Yep, I got the timer going, right?
And now.
Go. We're timing. So
I reset the trip meter, you're timing, I have pedal to the metal, and I want to kind of call out when I reach 60, okay? Are you ready?
Yep, 55.
58, 9, 60 right now. So that was actually not too bad.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. Now, this Cummins is one of the best sounding engines in the entire automotive industry. I don't care if you're a Lamborghini guy or if you're a Mini Cooper guy, this sound is amazing. It's got like this low baritone grumble that is just so confidence inspiring.
Yeah, and it's been obviously many generations of this engine. This is a 6.7 liter, right? The latest iteration of it. It's a standard output, not a high output.
What does that mean?
That means the 3/4 ton trucks like this, 2,500 Rams, get this engine and not the high output. That means you have a different horsepower and torque rating. You have the 6-speed RFE, 68 RFE transmission.
So to get the full 1,000+ pound-feet, you got to go to the dualies.
Or just any 3,500 in fact.
Oh, really? Okay.
So if you step up to the 1-ton truck, dually or single wheel, you get that high output diesel and you can fly. You might be saying to yourself, why compare these two trucks? The diesel will have longer range, it has more towing capability. Well, we're doing it because of this. Electric motors are very torquey, very powerful. I really want to see the lightning on this world's toughest towing test, and the Cummins is a perfect benchmark to measure it against. So do you want to measure cabin sound?
Yep, ready?
Let me get in this lane, because I want to be in the same lane in both trucks, right? So we can compare everything properly.
So it seems to be settled about 62 decibels, 63.
Dude, that's quiet.
It's really quiet.
Anything under 70 decibels, like we talked about 84 decibels.
Yeah.
So anything under 70 decibels is whisper quiet. But I agree with you, this diesel sound is amazing. Also, you heard the exhaust brake come on the downhill. That's also an amazing sound, I think.
Yeah, and it's just an absolute fantastic tow vehicle. How are the mirrors? Are they working pretty well?
We've got towing mirrors. They have far reach. I can see all the way behind the trailer, alongside the trailer. I'm not in love with these mirrors. I think like General Motors and Ford do a slightly better design.
Okay.
Because they're wider. There's more glass on those mirrors. But still, these towing mirrors are just fine. In Ram trucks, especially their Hemis, the oil temps can reach quite high.
Okay.
In the diesel, the oil temp is still, I would consider that really normal or below norm. So we're coming to the end. We're gonna give you basically 3 pieces of information. Our time,
Yep.
our fuel efficiency on the way up,
Yep.
and our total trip meter efficiency down and up.
All right.
We're almost crossing the line and stop.
So that was 8 minutes and 8 seconds, which is pretty much as good as it gets.
Yeah, it's basically almost a benchmark run. 5.8 mpg, 5.8 mpg on the way up, and 10.9 mpg overall. Do you want to write that down?
Yep.
10.9 mpg and 5.8.
Got it. The Ford F-150 Lightning has a lot of really cool towing tech, which can be very, very handy. So first of all, the backup cameras. We have these large and in charge backup cameras that show us all sorts of information, and this one can be particularly helpful, the hitch view. So when you're backing up to the tongue of your trailer, you know exactly when that ball is going to be right over the receiver, so there you can see it kind of coming into action there. My favorite though is actually just going to be the standard backup camera, because then you get the little guidelines. See Andre back there? And
That's perfect, Tommy!
right about there. So we're going to engage the electronic parking brake. Now check this out. We have something called Smart Hitch. What does Smart Hitch do?
Oh, Smart Hitch is very clever.
Okay.
It just coaches you through, and it just kind of lets you know, like everything that you need to do, like chains hookup, and then also it has provision for weight distribution, if you're using that or not. So
you can select your trailer, reset hitch weight. Should we see that?
Reset it because it wants to know your weight right now.
Okay, so hitch weight reset to 0.
Sweet.
And now, next, conventional. Enter total weight of the loaded trailer.
Okay, so that's gonna be 9,600.
So we're gonna go all the way up to 9,600.
Oh boy.
Increase the hitch weight by moving the load on the trailer forward.
Well, it's not connected yet. Let me connect it.
Yeah, connect it up, Andre. So Andre's gonna lower the hitch down. There you go. You see that bar move? So it'll show you 10%. And then there's the green, gives you a check mark. And there you go. So you can see we are between 10 and 15%.
So that's what we counted when we went to the truck scales.
Yep.
Right, we weighed everything. And I was estimating about 1,100 pounds of tongue weight, which is actually a little bit more than 10%, which is exactly what we need.
Now we can also go to the onboard scales and check this out, Ian. It shows us where we are relative to the payload capacity, and we're kind of approaching the max payload, but we're still in the green. So this is going to be a fully loaded test.
All right, let's determine the suspension squat on the Ram heavy duty truck. So on laden, like it is now, it's at around 43 1/4. And that's also averaging both sides. We always measure both sides because sometimes on uneven terrain it can shift. And when it was loaded, it was 41 1/4. So 2 inches of squat for a heavy duty truck is just kind of normal. It can actually has more travel in the suspension. So just fine, 2 inches of squat here. So here I'm measuring the Lightning with the weight of the trailer loaded. So the suspension height here to the fender, it's about 39 1/4. On laden, it was about 40 3/4. The Ram squatted 2 inches. This squatted about 1.5 inches. How's that possible, dude?
Pretty amazing when you consider that this has that independent rear suspension.
Yes, let me show you actually. At least in modern history, this is the first full-size pickup with independent rear suspension. You can see those gigantic A-arms down here, and of course a coilover shock here as well. And yeah, I think we still have about 1 inch of travel, maybe more, before the bump stop. But this is where the electric motor is. So of course there's one electric motor in the rear and one in the front, and giant skid plates here as well. So yeah, I'm really excited for this because we're learning a lot about this Lightning. And Tommy, the other cool part of the Ford system is you can add the trailer and keep track of it. So the mileage you've gone, etc., etc. So we're gonna call this what? Excursion.
Love that.
This is our excursion, but I'm also gonna say dash Ike. How about that?
Perfect.
Excursion Ike. Hopefully I can spell.
Yep.
Then we don't have electric over hydraulic, so this is electric brakes. So we keep going. I would say high because we're near 10,000 pounds. So high effort, we're gonna define that. If you were 5,000 pounds or below, you can go medium or low. Then length of this trailer, it's pretty long, 24-foot deck and a tongue. So I'm gonna put it at about 29-ish feet. And this will also help with our blind spot monitoring.
Okay.
And then width is about 8 feet. Actually, it's not very wide trailer, and you could see around it. Height, well, I want to say...
Here we go measure.
Well, no, the Excursion is really tall, right?
Yep.
Let's say 9.
Okay.
This is only matters if you're towing gigantic camping trailers. Okay. Weight of the trailer.
Gross vehicle weight rating, look at that.
Enter the trailer's gross vehicle. Oh, which is actually 10.
Yep. Nice.
Okay. Confirm.
It will take a few miles of towing this trailer to get the most accurate range. Your range estimate will become more personalized over time. Pretty cool. So Andre, that is the trailer setup, but what about the different drive modes?
We have 4 of them. Normal, Sport, Off-Road, and Tow Haul. This is what we want for the Ike. Tow Haul. Let's see what it says.
Oh, it's giving you a warning. 1 pedal drive pause.
Yes, one pedal drive is not available in some drive modes or when cruise control is active, which is fine, but I hope regen braking is still active.
And when you look in the additional settings, it will show you one pedal drive is no longer able to be turned on.
Okay, so now let's get going, dude.
Let's hit it.
All right, dude. So first ever F-150 Lightning electric truck downhill hike.
Not just any Ike, Andre. This is the full-on Super Ike because we are so close to the max rating on this truck.
Yeah. So once again, we're going to be resetting the trip meter for the down and up.
Yep.
And also the other trip meter on the way up. So we have all the data for you to share. And you're going to record how much percent battery we have and what the range we have.
I've got it ready to go, Andre. Let me know when, and I'll write down the numbers.
Resetting now.
Perfect.
And we're starting the downhill.
So we are at 63% state of charge with a 97-mile estimate on the trip computer.
So immediately, I'm basically driving the same way as if I was driving any other truck.
Okay.
On the Gauntlet, which means we came out of the tunnel at 50 miles an hour, as we always do. I let go of the accelerator, I let it go of the brake. I already have some regen happening.
Yep.
And it slowed down a little bit. So let's see how it behaves, if it remembers my speed or not.
Now, one thing I can tell you right off the bat, when you go into tow haul mode, it really reduces the amount of one pedal driving experience.
Exactly.
So typically when you're driving this truck, you let off the accelerator and you get a huge amount of regen and the truck slows down quickly. When we went into the tow haul mode, it flashed a warning saying one pedal drive not active.
Right.
And it really limits the amount of off accelerator slowdown. But it doesn't eliminate it altogether, because when you let off the accelerator, you can see we're still putting energy back into the battery.
Yeah, you can see it right here. There's little green, and it's kind of flashing green, which means we're putting energy back. And it's actually, we're slowing down past 50. So I almost feel like I need to accelerate a little bit, Tommy.
That's right. So now you're back on the accelerator and we're back up to that 50 mile an hour threshold.
Okay.
And what you have to deal with an electric truck when towing is when you are off the accelerator, it'll start to slow down ever so gradually. At least that's what our experience has been in the past. And then you modulate the slowdown, not with the brake, but with the skinny pedal, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Although I do see we're speeding up a little bit.
Yeah, so I got up to about 51, 52-ish. Now it's kind of back to 52. So we still seem to be holding the speed. So it's not like accelerating with no control. I didn't touch the brake, by the way, yet.
So we haven't touched the brake whatsoever?
No.
Interesting. Now I'm looking at the state of charge. We've been talking here for a matter of 2 minutes, and we've already gained 2% back into the battery.
According to the meter. This is really remarkable. Do you actually want to show that a little bit?
For sure, so I'll show you the information we have. So that number started at 97 miles of range remaining. Now it's up to 101. That is showing 65% back into the 65% state of charge in the battery pack. So in a very short amount of time, we've regened a surprising amount of energy. And we do have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the trailer brakes. What am I talking about?
What you're talking about, dude, is with any electric vehicle, as soon as it determines if the rate of deceleration is enough to necessitate the brake lights, it will turn on the brake lights, but it will also initiate trailer brakes.
Absolutely, yeah. So the question there then is, are you slowing down the truck with regenerative braking, or are you slowing down the truck with the trailer brakes? Now, the only way to know for sure if you're slowing down the trucks with regen only is to disable the trailer brake. So bring that brake controller all the way down to 0.
Yeah.
But what's the problem with that?
Well, safety is a primary concern for all of us, right? We're on a public road, public highway. If I was to bring my gain to 0, in an emergency situation, I don't have trailer brakes.
So we may do some additional testing in a future episode on a closed course where it's much more safe. But on a public road, if there was an obstacle or a deer or something that ran out in front of us and we needed to stop in a hurry, if you didn't have trailer brakes, you could slam on those brakes and really end up in a jackknife event, which would be a really dangerous situation.
Absolutely. As always, we're using heavy-duty Gen Y hitches like this. They're height adjustable, super solid and strong, and have really huge weight ratings. Check them out using the link in the description as well.
But so far, 7.5 minutes down the mountain, up to 69%. We started at 63, so we've gained 6% back into the battery pack. And here's the astonishing number.
I'm surprised.
So 6% may not sound like a lot, but if you consider this is a 31 kilowatt hour pack.
Yes.
So 131 times 0.06 or 6%, that's nearly 8 kilowatt hours of energy has been gained on this downhill stretch.
And remember, the very heavy trailer is helping us.
Yeah.
Because gravity's on our side right now.
And it doesn't feel like the brakes of the trailer are holding us back, does it?
No,
to you?
not at all. Not at all.
I mean, it's a pretty obvious sensation when the trailer brakes engage. You get kind of this lurch and it feels like someone's dragging you backwards. Haven't experienced that at all.
So we're coming to the very end of this grade. Very close. Once again, 8 miles total length of this grade. And I did not touch brakes once.
Keep in mind too, Andre, that this is the most weight I think we've ever towed with an EV.
Exactly.
9,600 pounds. That is a considerable load.
We've towed 5,000 with the Tesla.
Yep.
We've towed 8,100 pounds with the Rivian. We're towing 9,600 pounds with the Lightning EV.
70% state of charge indicated there, and 109 miles of estimated range. Now that range estimation may change a little bit depending on the truck, depending on whether it learns the trailer. So don't spend too much time dwelling on that range gain. But do focus on the percentage. So we've gone from 63 to 70%.
Yes. So now the biggest challenge, and I think this is what worries me, Tommy, the biggest challenge for the Lightning is going to be the uphill because we're towing maximum load.
So same procedure as the power boost on the way up the mountain. So 35 through the start gates, full throttle.
I'm going to reset my trip meter. You have the timer, correct?
Got the timer.
Okay, and I'm going to nail my throttle and I want to see how it accelerates.
Okay.
And now. Whoa! Dude, it spun its tires and there's a Prius in front of me.
We got wheel spin towing nearly 10,000 pounds.
And we're at 60. Dude. So 580 horsepower, 775 pound-feet of torque. That was absurd. Did you hear that tire slip?
I sure did, and we are starting the uphill run at 69% state of charge. Now that instant acceleration that the Lightning provides is pretty much unlike anything else on the planet, especially while towing.
Yeah, I think only electric vehicles can do this. The diesels really cannot. The gasoline engine, even the TRX, right? As insane as the Ram TRX is, the electric motors has ultimate torque.
Now, let's take a look at the range indicator here. So we are sitting at 66% state of charge now, and we've traveled 1.7 miles. So we are definitely burning through the electrons at an alarming rate. But I want to talk about one of the coolest things about the Lightning, which is very unusual for any electric car, and that is the temperature indicators for the motor and for the battery. Can you explain that, Andre?
Yeah, it's at the very top of my gauge cluster here, and we have a separate camera focused on the gauge cluster. And I want to thank Ford for doing this, because truck people, pickup truck guys and gals, really want all the information. So we have a battery temperature gauge, which is still in the middle, where it always is, and the motor gauge, which is also in the middle. And this is what we were worried about, right, Tommy? We were worried about overheating either the battery or the motors. But this has maximum towing package. So not only do we have the bigger battery, the extended range battery, right? We also have the max tow package on this Lariat F-150 Lightning, which gives you the 10,000 pound towing, but also gives you the additional cooling systems, right? For the drive system. I want to point something else out. If you look at my gauge cluster once again, on the left, you can kind of see my power usage, that little bar on the left. And also at the very top, it says 100. It says actually 100 twice. So on the left, that's my maximum available power.
Right.
And if the truck was to derate itself, that 100 would go down to something else, like 90% or 80% or whatever it may be. So right now, I have 100% of power available to me. This Lightning Lariat, which is a fairly optioned and expensive truck, has a payload rating of 1,686 pounds, which is actually, I was surprised by. This is pretty good rating.
I'm excited to announce that we have brought back our enthusiast auction site, TFLbids.com, where you can bid on and potentially purchase vehicles like this Ford Excursion that were used in TFL video series. So check out TFLbids.com.
How about we measure sound now?
Yep.
How about this?
Are you ready? So I don't know if you saw that, but we were sitting right at about 57 or 58 decibels.
That's the quietest truck ever on the Gauntlet. The previous quietest truck was the Tundra, actually. The twin turbo Tundra at 61 decibels. So 57 decibels, dude, on this road is insane.
Now, of course, Andre, the one thing we do need to refer to, which is not something we're going to be testing in this video, but we're going to do a lot of testing in future videos, is the range while towing.
Yeah, I think it's on everybody's mind, right? This test, the Gauntlet, is designed as the world's toughest towing test, which it is, to test capability, not range. We'll be doing more range testing on flat highways, something like you guys are driving, typically.
And I will say, from a capability standpoint, this thing has absolutely floored me. And also pushed me back in the seat. Not only was it silent, it felt very stable. The regen braking performance far exceeded any EV I've ever experienced driving. And we're about to cross over the lines here, and it's going to be a downright perfect score in terms of uphill time.
Basically, and now.
So that was 8 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yes, and we had to slow down in traffic.
Now, let's talk about some of the consumption. You want to go into that?
Yeah, so right now, the uphill only 0.5 miles per kilowatt hour. And overall number is 1.4 miles per kilowatt hour.
And that was down and up, was a 1.4.
Yes, 1.4 was down and up.
So let me talk to you about...
let's measure, let's get this.
I got it already.
So 53%?
At the top of the mountain. So
yeah.
We started at the bottom of the mountain at 69%. We finished at the top of the mountain with 53%. So we used 16% state of charge to go 8 miles.
That's an insane amount of energy we just used.
That is a lot of energy. Luckily though, I don't see any overheat warnings.
Nope.
We still have access to 100% of the acceleration.
Yep.
100% of the regen, it looks like. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, going into this, I knew the diesel, the Cummins, would do really, really well with this trailer, but I had my doubts about the Lightning.
I did too, and at least where I was sitting, it felt amazing. It really had a lot of control and power and braking and all of it.
Yes, I would have to agree. The Lightning just blew our minds, I think, how stable it was, how capable it was. It gained a ton of energy on the way down, all those great things. But what about range, Tommy?
Well, that, of course, is one of the major advantages of a diesel. I mean, you could talk about the torque and the pulling capability, but range is one of the reasons people buy diesels, and we're going to do a lot more testing. So we really want to find out what the usable towing range is with the Lightning over a variety of trailers, especially compared to a diesel truck. So that's coming up very shortly.
Yes, so the capability on the Lightning is there, but like you said, more to come. And check us out at TFL.com for everything on automotive. One-stop shopping for you right there.
We'll see you on the next episode.